Adios Amigos, it's the Dark Mexican here with a brand new video. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys how to raise your own baby chicks. So currently we have 10 baby chicks and here they are inside. They're healthy, they're having nice life. Roosters, dust bathing, food and water, all kinds of stuff, but they're a lot older. Obviously, when you get your baby chicks from most likely Tractor Supply, they're going to be a lot younger than ours. Yes, Penelope. I think she's getting ready to lay for today. But they're going to be a lot younger. Ours right now are currently about a month and a half. So yeah, they're pretty old. But I'm going to be showing you guys the ways that you can raise your own baby chicks and how you can get them used to older hens. So let's get right into today's video. So the first thing you're going to want to have is very simple. It is just a living area. Now I suggest one of two things. You can have this large bin. You can find these at some sort of feed store or Home Depot, depending on where you're trying to go. And they're a bit larger than the ones with the yellow lids. So this is a good place to have your baby chicks to live for their first couple or a few weeks. Or you can get something like this. Now this is much larger than the black bin over there. This is a much larger living area. As you can tell, all kinds of breathing holes, so you can zip it all the way around. So this is a very big living area. We have 10 chicks and they are older than brand new baby chicks, and they still have much more living area in here. They still have a lot of space to run around and to play around. So yeah, I'm sure they sell all kinds of bins such as this and such as this gray one. You don't have to get the exact ones, but something pretty similar so where you can put your baby chicks to live in. Now, how to set up your living area for your baby chicks is pretty simple, but it does take a lot of work and consistency of cleaning up your area. So first, before you put anything, you're gonna want to make sure your area is nice, empty, and clean. So we're gonna open this all the way up for you guys to see. As you can tell, no chicks in here because they're all over there in the cage back there. So yeah, so what you're gonna want to put very first at the very bottom of your living area, you guys can either put napkins or some sort of puppy pads, peeing pads, and this is to kind of drench and soak up all the poop that the baby chicks will be letting out, because trust me, your baby chicks are going to be pooping a lot. So you're going to be having to keep consistent with cleaning it out, taking out the puppy pads, putting them back in. So once you put your puppy pads or your napkins at the very bottom, you're going to want to put pine shavings on top of it. So this is to help make it dry, make it nice and comfortable for the baby chicks to live in. This is what baby chicks are required to have nice and healthy and comfortable lives. This is for them to lay down and sleep comfortably, to walk comfortably, and to kind of get used to that little environment of pine shavings. So once you have your puppy pads and napkins and then your pine shavings on top, make sure it is covered all the flooring area. Then you're going to want to have your food and your water. So guys, for the food, it is very simple. You're gonna have a container just like this, and this is what we use for our baby chicks. You can tell there are a bunch of eating holes to eat in here, and for them to have a nice little feeding area. Now obviously for your food, you're gonna have to get something that says starter chick, growing chicks, starter kit for your baby chicks, all kinds of feeding that fall in that category, and you can get all these stuff at either Tractor Supply or a local feed store. Now for the water, it comes in basically the same container as you get for the food. However, the base is a little bit more different. For the base, you will find one of two things. So for our very first here, we just found this one, and you can tell it's pretty wide and it's a lot of more water can fit in here. However, the downside to that is the baby chicks are really small, really fragile, and they can possibly drown in this large, wide area for water. So one way to fix that is you can simply put pebbles or marbles in there, surround all the way around so it won't be that deep for your baby chicks to possibly drown in. Now, if you're still worried that your chicks may still possibly drown, which when we did that method with the pebbles, none of ours didn't, thank the Lord. If you don't want to risk it and you just want to avoid all of that, you can simply get this one. Now you can tell that this watering one, it's a lot narrower, not as wide, and there's no way that a baby chick is going to fit in there and drown, but it's still enough area for them to be able to get their water and the water that they need. So if you want to avoid all of that, you can simply just get this one from Tractor Supply, and it'll just save you all the trouble, and you won't have to worry about your chicks drowning. Now, another important thing you should know about their water is that you can get this. It is Hydro Hen. It includes probiotics, electrolytes, and acidifiers. So this helps support their digestive system and their guts. It basically helps them grow happier, healthier, and stronger. And you do want happy, healthy, and strong chicks to grow for you guys. So you're supposed to put 1 full scoop of this, which comes with the bag, for a gallon per gallon of water. Now obviously those small gray containers do not hold a gallon, so we usually put half or less than half every time we have to refill their water. And you know, this just helps, like I said, make them healthier and stronger and helps them grow nice and nutritious way. So yeah, make sure you get this to help your chicks grow stronger and healthier. Alright guys, the next thing you're gonna want to know is where to put your food and your water in the enclosure. Now you would think to just put it on the ground, right? Well, I disagree. So for our little enclosure over here, our little baby chick area, we have this brick that we put both the food and the water on top, and that is because when the baby chicks walk, they'll be kicking all the pine shavings around and possibly kicking them inside their water and inside their food. Now if your cage is smaller than that, the brick might not fit or might take up too much space, but you can still put a lid of a large container or something that is kind of above the ground, so that way it is a lot harder for the pine shavings to make it inside the water. It's hard to get the pine shavings out of the water container, so I suggest you put that over the food. Alright guys, for the next necessity for your chicken living area, you have the living area, you have the puppy pads or napkins, you have the pine shavings, you have the food and water, and where to put it and how to put it. But now you need your heater. Now most of you are probably thinking just to get a heat lamp, right? Wrong. The bad thing about heat lamps is that they're a fire hazard, and we don't really want to risk that. So what to get instead and what we got is much better than a heat lamp. Now our heater, which is currently full of poop, but we have a puppy pad, so it is pretty easy to clean off. But our heater is a bit different. There's a little setting right here. You can either have it on brooder or heater, and this is pretty good. It is actually, I think, much better than a heater because it is like direct contact. The baby chicks can simply just go down here for a hiding area and to get nice and warm. Now as you can see, this is like a little black platform, and it is much easier for them to access, and I feel like it is much better. This one is not a fire hazard, and you can tell it's a black like platform basically. So I kind of just repeated myself there, but I suggest you guys get this or something like this other than a heat lamp. So that is your heater. Now you guys basically have everything for your living area, but now let's focus on how to get them used to older chicks. So once your baby chicks are about a month old or a month and a half, you can move them to the next stage, which is where we currently are. So right now our baby chicks are about a month and a half, and we have them outside in this cage. Like I showed you earlier, their roosters are here. We added this little tunnel, this little hiding area, their food and water on top of a block, and a little dust bathing area. This is just for the baby chicks to have direct contact with the older chickens, and the older chickens to have direct contact with the baby chicks. This is kind of how to get them introduced to each other without the older chicks bullying or plucking the feathers off of these younger ones. And as you can tell, we don't have puppy pads or pine shavings at the bottom, and this is so that way they can get grass, they can get different nutrients and all kinds of bugs from the natural ground. Right Billy? Yeah. Now this is an important thing to remember, is you're going to want to move your kennel or your cage, wherever you have your baby chicks in for this stage. You're gonna want to move it around so that way they can get different grass. Obviously, the more chicks you have, the more they're gonna eat, and the grass might not just grow that fast. So you want to occasionally move their little cage or little area out here around so that way they can get new and alive grass, because if you just leave them in one spot, they might not have enough grass and everything there is just going to be dead. So obviously you're just going to want to be moving them around. As you can see, there are ones here, and there are ones here, and there are ones here, and you can tell the grass is slowly growing back So yeah, right now they're over here and we'll move them around again. We moved them here today, so this is a new spot. So as you can tell, they're loving it. They're eating all kinds of new grass. So yeah, just make sure you move them around from time to time. And then in the night, once you see all your older chicks going into the chicken coop to go to sleep, you can move your baby chicks inside the little area where the chicken coop is and where their little sleeping area is at. And how we do this is we simply put about 5 to 6 chicks in this bucket, and we have a lid and we cover it, not all the way, but almost all the way, just so they can still breathe. And we make our way into the chicken coop and into their living area. So yeah, and then you're gonna want to come back and retrieve the rest. Now if you have a baby chick or baby chicks that are much smaller or younger than all the other ones, then you're gonna want to single-handedly or separately take those, because if you put them in the bucket with the bigger ones, they might trample over her, and when you move, they might move around and, you know, trample her basically. Now once you have this set up, you can move on to the next stage, and this is when your baby chicks are about 3 months old, and you can see that they're bigger and stronger and almost the size of regular chicks. So this is when a build like this comes in handy. You know, you should definitely build something like this. You can put all kinds of new animals in there, getting them used to other animals, and this is also a good place to quarantine your animals if they are sick. So this just comes in handy for several different things, several different reasons. This is when your baby chicks can officially have the freedom to walk around your property, to have one-to-one contact with your older chicks, and for them to be free. But don't just let them out, also have them in here. And how to have both of that, well, I'll explain to you in just a little bit. So basically you can get a couple blocks that I showed that were holding the water and food up, or you can get a block just like that, and you're gonna wanna put it on top to where the cage is sort of off the ground and there's a little crack for the baby chicks to be able to go under. Now try not to make this crack too big to where the older chicks and the rooster can go under as well, but make it big enough to where just the younger chicks can go under and not the older chicks to follow. This is so the younger chicks can freely go under and outside to the property, or under and back inside to their cage. And then you'll want their brick and then their food and water on top of the brick and whatever they need inside their cage. And obviously for this one, you won't have to move it around since they have the freedom to go get all kinds of grass that they want. But the reason why you only want the baby chicks to fit under the little crack that you have in your cage is because if they feel threatened by the other chicks, or if the other chickens are bullying the younger chicks, then they can freely go back under and inside the cage where the chickens won't be able to hurt them or do anything, and they can have their food and water as well, and the older chickens won't be able to steal their food and water. But by this time, your chickens should know who these chicks are and what they do, because they've been knowing them since they're sleeping with them in the coop. You have them out here, so they're gonna be knowing what these animals are, and you know that they're their younger sisters. Now once you feel and see that your chickens are almost as big as your older chicks, then you can freely let them out without cages, without anything, and you can freely let them out and roam with the rest of the chickens. Then you can get rid of all the cages, you can get rid of the electrolytes for their water, you can get rid of all the little containers, because they will be eating with the rest of the chickens, they'll be living with the rest of the chickens. You can take that out of the chicken coop, but you can still keep it, you know, for upcoming chicks, just in case you get them, because you probably will. But anyways, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you guys did learn something. I'll see you guys in the next one. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe if you have not yet, comment any other video ideas you guys have for me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, adios amigos, peace!